Internationalization of business includes product presence in different markets of the world, production bases across the globe, human resource to contain high diversity, investment in international services like banking, advertising, tourism, retailing, and construction, transactions involving intellectual properties such as copyrights, patents, trademarks, etc. Some of the factors causing globalization. So we can talk about globalization of the economy, which has been propelled by the reduction of import duties, removal of non-tariff barriers on trade, such as exchange control, import licensing, etc. All these factors have contributed to globalization. And then allowing foreign direct investments into the country. This has allowed companies to raise capital abroad and grow beyond national boundaries and encourage exports. So both foreign trade and foreign investment volume have grown rapidly over the last few years. When we look at globalization, then we are considering the lowering of cost of transportation, this and also reduction in the cost of communication. There is also a revolution in information and communication technologies, and we have experienced some benefits due to changes in political systems. We look at the 5 different stages in the development of a firm into a global corporation. The first stage is the arm's length service activity of essentially domestic company which moves into new markets overseas by linking up with local dealers and distributors. The second stage, the company takes over these activities on its own. The third stage, the domestic-based company begins to carry out its own manufacturing, marketing, and sales in the key foreign markets. In the fourth stage, the company moves to a full insider position in these markets, supported by a complete business system, including research and development. In the fifth and final stage, the company moves towards a genuinely global mode of operation. What are some of the essential conditions for globalization? The first one will be business freedom. Of course, there should be freedom for businesses to decide to go global. The second one is facilities. Facilities must be available. We talk about infrastructure. They must be available, telecommunication. All these are the facilities. As the third one is the government support. There should be government support. There should be the legal framework, the legal regulations, the rules and regulations concerning shipments, concerning businesses must be well in place. Then resources, the fourth essential condition for globalization. There should be resources, human, technical. Then competitiveness. So the company deciding to go global must be competitive and be able to survive in the foreign country. So in summary, the essential conditions for globalization are business freedom, facilities, government support, resources, and competitiveness. We look at the problems companies are most likely going to encounter when they go global. So problems in globalization. Global competition and imports keep a lid on prices. So inflation is less likely to derail economic growth. Secondly, an open economy spurs innovation with fresh ideas from abroad. Again, export jobs often pay more than other jobs. There is unfettered capital flows, giving the access to foreign investments, which also help to keep interest rates low. Again, millions of employees have lost jobs due to import or production shifts abroad. Most find new jobs that pay less than what they were used to. Millions of others fear losing their jobs, especially at those companies operating under competitive pressure. Also, workers face pay cut demands from employers, which often threaten to export jobs. Service and white-collar jobs are increasingly vulnerable to operations moving offshore. Again, employees can lose their comparative advantage when companies build advanced factories in low-wage countries, making them as productive as those at home. These are some of the problems that are encountered in globalization. What are the factors favoring globalization? We'll talk about human resources. There is a wide base for production. There is growing entrepreneurship, growing domestic markets, niche markets, expanding markets, transnationalization of world economy, and competition. Some of the factors causing globalization of business. More and more companies are seeking to internalize or globalize their economies for a number of reasons. 1. Developing markets have huge markets. 2. Many multinational companies are locating their subsidiaries in low-wage countries to take advantage of low cost of production. 3. Changing demographics also add to increasing globalization. 4. Regional trading blocs are adding to the pace of globalization. Alliances, WTO, EU are major alliances among countries. Trading blocs seeks to promote international business by removing trade and investment barriers. 5. Declining trade and investment barriers have vastly contributed to globalization. 6. The most powerful instrument that triggered globalization is technology. So these are some of the factors that have contributed to globalization.